I'm just not a creative person. Yeah, it's a feeling we all know. But what if I told you that being creative isn't some kind of magical talent you're born with? What if it's a skill you can actually learn? Well, today, we're going to dive into a simple method that can turn pretty much anyone into an idea machine.
I know. This sounds completely impossible, right? But it's true. The key isn't sitting around and waiting for some lightning bolt of inspiration to strike you. It's all about having the right process.
So, to really get this process, we first have to tear down the biggest thing holding us back, the creativity myth. You know, this idea that we all have that great ideas are born from some kind of mystical, untouchable genius.
We've all been sold this myth that creativity is some magical gift that only a few people get. But the truth is actually way more empowering. It's not about magic at all. It's about a method, a simple, repeatable process that absolutely anyone can use.
Okay, so if it's not magic, what is it? Well, the secret is something we can call the recombination engine. And this is the secret sauce, the fundamental mechanism behind pretty much every great idea in history.
And this engine is fueled by one simple thing: recombination. To put it simply, it's the art of taking old ideas and just mashing them together in new and interesting ways. It's not about inventing something from scratch. It's about connecting the dots that are already there, just in a way no one has before.
Just think about the iPhone for a second. Steve Jobs didn't invent the touchscreen, right? He didn't invent the phone or the internet. Those pieces were already out there. His genius was in combining them into one seamless, game-changing device. That's recombination in action. And this isn't just a modern tech thing. Think about William Shakespeare. A lot of his most famous plots, he borrowed them from older stories in history. His true mastery was in recombining those existing stories with his incredible poetic language to create something that's lasted for centuries.
It even applies to the highest levels of scientific genius. I mean, Albert Einstein didn't just cook up his theories in a vacuum. He built on centuries of physics and math that already existed, and he recombined them with his own brilliant insights to completely change how we see the universe.
So you see the pattern here, right? Real innovation isn't always about being 100% original. It's about being a master connector, a brilliant recombiner of what's already out there.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how do we actually do this recombination thing? Well, that brings us to the idea stacking method, a super practical guide to generating ideas whenever you want.
It's just 3 steps. Step 1, create and absorb. And hey, notice the order there. You start creating, even if it's something small, just to give your learning a purpose. Then you just absorb everything. Read books, watch videos, listen to podcasts. Step 2, log everything. Every interesting fact or quote or thought goes into a notebook. Don't judge them, just collect them. Then step 3 is where the fun really begins. Find connections. You actively look at your list and ask, what happens if I combine this with that?
Now, I know that might still feel a little abstract, so let's make it real. Let's look at how this whole connecting the unconnected thing plays out in the real world.
Okay, take the Dyson vacuum. James Dyson combined 2 totally separate ideas. You had idea A, the regular vacuum cleaner that always loses suction. Then you had idea B, these giant industrial cyclones they use in sawmills that never clog. He just asked, what if I put a tiny version of that cyclone inside a vacuum cleaner? And bam, the bagless vacuum was born. A perfect idea stack.
So that's a famous inventor, but this works for anyone. I mean it. So let's do a quick little thought experiment together, right now, using this exact method.
All right, first, let's grab our first idea, our first building block. Simple question. When you picture a podcast being made, where is it? Right, exactly. It's usually a studio, an office, some quiet room. It's indoors, it's controlled. Okay, that's idea A. We've got it logged in our minds. Now, for our second building block, let's pull from a totally different world. Where do travel vloggers or explorers make their videos?
Yep, they're out in the world, right? In cool, dynamic places like a forest or a busy city or even ancient ruins. Okay, so that's our idea B.
Now for step 3, let's find the connection. What happens when you stack these 2 very normal ideas on top of each other? A podcast recorded live from a forest? An interview conducted while exploring ancient ruins? All of a sudden, just by combining 2 ordinary things, you've created something totally new, unique, and honestly pretty compelling. That's the method, right there.
And that's really the whole point. Coming up with great ideas isn't some magical talent. It's a system. And it's a system you can start using every single day. So let's just do a quick recap.
The most important thing to remember is that creativity is a skill you can build. Great ideas are just new combinations of old ones. And idea stacking is your 3-step system. Create and absorb, log and connect. And seriously, the biggest takeaway, stop waiting for inspiration to just show up. Start building your system.
Because when it comes down to it, this is the truth that unlocks everything else. You don't need to be born with some special talent. You just need a system that works, a process you can count on, day in and day out, to get results. So that really just leaves one last thought. Look at the world around you, at all the ideas you've already got stored in your mind. The question isn't whether you're creative enough. The only question is, what old ideas will you combine today?